Good evening, and welcome to Medication, Meditation, and Management, or Magic. My name's Kimberly Knox, and I have bipolar 1. I've had it for a long time. I'm also the creator of a new application program called Mood Watch, and I'd like to share the strategy that I promote through the use of the app, although the strategy applies whether you use the app or not. For my working life, I'm a multiple disciplinary inventor and creator in both the arts and sciences, from chemistry to jewelry, from biomechanics to sculpture, a little bit of alchemy in it all. My illness was with me from the highest highs and then took me higher than even I could fly. And then right down to the lowest lows where I could not emerge even with a great deal of help. It seemingly had become worse as I'd gotten older, and it was ruining not only my life, but the lives of other people around me. The highs were magnificent clarity and vision, productivity beyond belief. It was a rare and enviable state, and it served me very well. The trouble arose when things just went too far. They got too high. Acquisition of materials became almost ludicrous. Sure, there were things I needed, but then anything even remotely related came to be acquired and then returned or not. The number of projects, while always abundant, became outrageous. And grandiose, although it was a term that I'd always despised, what I do is grandiose. It's the nature of my work. But I refused to hear the accusations. I felt justified, defensive, and now angry. I became reclusive and moody, and I began to be plagued by anxiety, crippling anxiety. I was unable to drive and sometimes had difficulty walking. I suffered from tremors and vomiting. It's charming. I was disoriented very easily. This is the dark side of bipolar. I alienated my friends and my family, and my sleepless nights plummeted me into a dark melancholy plagued with hallucinatory apparitions. I ceased to care about anything at all. I don't remember much else now. And so it was that not long ago, still unable to sleep, I was pondering the feeble meaning of life in an art room in a psychiatric hospital. Again. Crazy, right? You bet. And at the time, nothing weighed heavier on my mind than figuring out what I could do about the condition once and for all. The security guard had escorted me to the art room. The room was large and dark, and he turned on a very small light for me, about the equivalent of a candle. I was alone. The room was warm and quiet, and I walked noiselessly around. I had a notebook with me, and I placed it on the table as I began to look through piles of unorganized supplies. I found a box of colored pencils, and thankfully they were sharp. I selected a red, blue, yellow, green, and black. And I looked at the notebook, and in an epiphanal moment, I knew that my life was about to change. I began to think, what if I could create a quick and precise way to size myself up, mentally, emotionally, and physically throughout the day? And what if I could create reminders throughout the day to take my medications and supplements? And what if I could accurately chart all of this information, including how I was feeling, sleeping, meditating, for my personal reflection, or to share with my physician or therapist? This might help me start to pull my life together. And that's how this all started, wanting to take my life back, wanting to get control of my life, wanting to live a good life, to really enjoy life, and wanting to have a feeling of inner peace. And I'll share more about that when I come to management or magic. Medication. First for me was medication. I had an imbalance that had to be dealt with. But medication can be such a hassle because it's so difficult to determine what works in combination with what, for whom. And it took me decades of fussing around with cocktails to figure out something that actually did work. And everyone's different. It's a team effort with your doctor, whatever ails you. The second part of medication is adherence, or how well you stick to your program. Did you remember to take it? Did you take it at all? For something so seemingly simple, evidence suggests that people are non-adherent at least 50% of the time. That's half the time. So the other half, you are either over-medicated or you're under-medicated. So that's pretty much a mess. True case for management if there ever was. Then there's the problem that many people simply stop taking their medications because they feel better. And that's the key. That's just a recipe for disaster. Or they get fed up, or they get side effected out, they quit, they feel frustrated, and the whole cycle starts over again. Do you have any idea how common these problems are? There's a terrible feeling of being out of control with no good way to communicate with yourself or with your physician. Certain medications carry stigma because they're associated with the treatment of mental illnesses, and because medication is usually the first line of treatment for bipolar and other disorders, mood disorders. I'm going to say a word about stigma here. Stigma is the uncomfortable black cloud that hovers over and around concepts like mental illness. Often poorly understood, not well accepted. It drives people into dark hiding places. Yes, we lie. We cage our words if we speak at all. We're ashamed, and we medicate in silence, sometimes with a bottle, sometimes with the help of a well-meaning doctor. And who are they who go through silent lives in pain, who never show up in the statistics, who can't receive any help, who live in but a shell of a life because of stigma? These problems are solvable, but even with the ideal dosage and frequency, medication alone is not enough to deliver the happy life to your door. Okay, this one's a little close for me. This is my grandmother. I thought my grandmother was a sweet little old lady. A little high-strung, perhaps, an overachiever, perhaps. But what I learned was that she secretly took a respectable daily dose of an anti-anxiety drug, an antidepressant, and a heavy antipsychotic. I realized that I didn't know her at all. No one did. She prayed a lot. Did she have a psychiatrist? No. Did she have a therapist? No. The morphine she received before her death wasn't for physical pain, it was for anxiety. And I often wonder what her life of nearly 96 years could have been with a little bit of help. I had no idea how much pain she was in, and no one did. That's stigma for you. So medication is important, but it's just a piece of the pie. And don't forget their adjunctive therapies like counseling, traditional psychotherapy, other treatments such as DBT, dialectic behavior therapy. All good, but one thing you can do on your own that merits some real attention is meditation. And from Wikipedia, I quote, A broad variety of practices that includes techniques designed to promote relaxation, build internal energy, and develop compassion, love, patience, generosity, and forgiveness. A particularly ambitious form of meditation aims at effortlessly sustained, single-pointed concentration, single-pointed analysis, meant to enable its practitioner to enjoy an indestructible sense of well-being while engaged in any life activity. I love that last part. An indestructible sense of well-being while engaged in any life activity. Yes. As impossible as it may seem, quieting your mind gets easier with practice. And the benefits are, if anything, understated. Your days will become longer, calmer, brighter, more pleasant. If you're meditating for 1/2 hour a day, you're going to wonder why you never found the time before. Tasks are completed without as much effort, and overall the world is just a better place. If you want a little biofeedback for some proof, take your blood pressure and pulse before and after, say, a 3 to 5 minute meditation. Check it again afterward. And you'll see for yourself. Practice that for a few months, and you'll find that your resting rate will actually become closer and closer to normal, even without meditation. It's powerful stuff. So how to do it? Let me explain. This will take about 3 minutes. At home, you'd start somewhere quiet. But for now, if you'd close your eyes, if you will, or not, taking in a deep breath through your nose. Let your mind settle into that breath and exhale even more slowly, keeping your mind with your breath. Let the thoughts come and let them gently go. Just stay focused on your breath. Inhale and exhale even slower. Notice that it requires no effort on your part to supply your body with air. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out even more slowly. So it's not so much as you are breathing, but you are being breathed. Breathe in and out. Feel your awareness inside of you, outside of you. Keep your consciousness resting gently in the breath. Breathe in and slowly breathe out. Relax the muscles in your face, around your eyes, your jaw, down to your neck, your shoulders, both arms, your hands. Breathe up in through your hands, up through your arms, and fill up your chest. And breathe out even more slowly. Breathe in through your stomach and exhale more slowly down your body and out your legs to your feet. Breathe in, relaxed and slow. Breathe into your chest and center there. Breathing slowly out. Notice the light, expansive feeling in your breath now. In and slowly out. Now with your eyes still closed, become aware of the seat you are in and the feeling of the room around you. And breathe in, slowly returning and out, aware of the people around you. And breathe in. Sounds in the room. And out. And now inhale the renewed energy of the room. And exhale. And inhale, fully present. And that is 3 minutes. Stand up if you like for just a minute and give yourself a little shake out. Feel better? Feeling superhuman? Practice. Meditation is great. It's a whole life process. Another way of meditating is a mindfulness exercise called walking meditation. This is actually great. It sounds crazy. It's essentially meditating while you're doing something. Mindfulness is awareness, but both broader and more focused. Awareness internally as well as externally. It's kind of all plugged in together. It's awareness of everything that you do. And here's the way I learned it. Baby steps, literally. Left foot, right foot. Left foot, right foot. One in front of the other. Like the breathing, be fully aware of everything about your feet. The surface they contact, being in the shoes that they're in. Just walking and focusing on your left foot and your right foot. You let the thoughts come into and go out of your head. You can notice what's around you so you don't bump into anything, but you need to keep your consciousness in your feet. And it's an amazing thing, doing this, how your mind will want to wander. Just pull it back in. All you're supposed to do is left foot, right foot. Mind wants to wander, pull it back in. Eventually you can take more normal steps, normal spacing. Try that for a few days and see if you can keep your consciousness in your feet. You can still interact with things around you, but keep your consciousness in your feet. It's an incredible grounding experience, and the discipline will kind of surprise you. Once you get that under your belt, go to other areas of your body, say your hands, picking up a glass. Internal, external. You're paying attention, your awareness is around everything about that, holding the glass. What does it feel like? The pressure that your fingers have on the glass. How does it feel to pick it up? The gravity, to put it down carefully. It's a mindfulness exercise. Eventually in mindfulness, you'll want to expand this to everything you do. Dialing the phone, driving your car, signing your name. That's a real meditation. Relaxing exercises, what we call mindless, but still full of purpose. Mindful meditation can be healing, perhaps even to others. I practice mindful meditation when I'm making pasta. 100 grams of flour, 1 egg, a few drops of olive oil, and some salt. I'm not making this up. Kneading together with love and prayers, this yields 128 noodles. Prayer noodles, I call them. For during the kneading, resting, forming, rolling, I'm thinking loving thoughts. And during the cutting and dusting and coiling, I name each noodle for someone I hold in my heart. So that's 128 noodles, 128 people. Okay, some people need more than one noodle. But truly, 1 egg and 100 grams of flour and some real good is done here. It's more over and above pasta. And I know it makes a difference. I like to think that cooking this way makes food taste better and makes it better for you. I know it does. Turn mere labors into labors of love. Tasks that take necessary time become so much more meaningful when they're practiced with this kind of attitude. Okay, and I'm going to go into one more type of mindful meditative activity that's perhaps the easiest of all, and this is a labor of love. Your passion. Could be a hobby, a vocation. It's the kind of activity you look forward to losing yourself into. It can be real work, but when you're in it, the rest of the world just fades away. For my husband, it's flying. For me, I just took up beekeeping. Precious. And these are tiny animals of nature, wild animals, and full of wonders and delights. They're warm, soft little bodies, scurrying, buzzing, frolicking, coming to rest on me. I have no fear of them, nor they of me. I watch their patterns in the air, their movements, their energy. I feel calm and blessed. I have no accounting for time at all. And when I leave them, there's a freshness in my soul that wasn't there before. It's pure bliss. It's just wonderful. Meditation is powerful medicine. Take it daily. Eat better, sleep better, and live better. So we've talked about meditation. We've talked about medication. Now let's consider the management of our moods. What does management look like? This is what ties it all together. Medicine itself won't do the job alone, and if it does that much of a job, it's not likely you're going to have that much of a life. The answer isn't to go around feeling drugged. The job of medication is to help you get enough of a break so that you can learn to function without the awkward weight of a large gorilla on your back. But you still have your life to deal with, and you still have yourself to deal with, so medication has its place. Meditation probably isn't enough by itself. First of all, in many cases, there's brain chemistry that may or may not be in need of adjustment. And second of all, applying meditation into daily activity can be somewhat elusive because it takes a lot of practice. Management incorporates both medication, supplementation, and meditation, and it puts a healthy lifestyle in reach. To manage, you need to track your moods and their components, and you've really got to get a system for a peace of mind, and you've got to track your medications and supplements. There's no way around that. Real management takes it all in, blending, observing, anchoring, and gently focusing on it all, a little bit each day. That's management, and when it's done right, it's downright magic. Now, truth is, you don't need my app to do this. It's entirely possible to do this on paper, which is how I started until I created the app purely for convenience. Remember when I told you I was in the hospital at 4 in the morning? I had a spiral-bound notebook. This is it. That's my record. Many, many pages. I also found a warped wooden yardstick for drawing lines when I was there. I had started writing and thinking and dissecting and drawing, and this chart, now on the app, is exactly the same. For 99 cents, take the convenience. In a nutshell, it's an easy way to track your mood and improve your life, and here's what it looks like. When you start, the question is, overall, how are you feeling today? You have excellent, great, good, fair. You'll want to watch out for warning signs like not so good or terrible. Those will end up as colored dots on your report at the end of the day. These are things to pay attention to. You also keep track of your sleep, number of hours, and the quality. There's no penalty for too many or too few hours, but the quality is critical, and we all know that. Poor and fair are indicators, and these two will show up on the daily report. From here, you'll have a little biofeedback exercise, and one that's well worth doing. Your mind has more to do with your body than we often think. You'll see the proof here. Any blood pressure monitor will do. I've got a little wrist monitor. It's small, it's handy, it's like 16 bucks. And if you're consistent in the way you use it, it's accurate. Just strap it on and record your pulse and pressure. Remember, be consistent. You got to keep the monitor at heart level, and if you're sitting at a table, that's no problem. No singing, no dancing, no laughing, no talking. Just uncross your legs, just sit there and get the numbers. You record the numbers and then set to meditating for about 3 to 5 minutes, just like we did. And longer if you can, but this will do the job. You should feel relaxed and refreshed, and practice will make you better. Then you take your pressure and pulse again and record the numbers and notice the difference, and there will be a difference. From here, we're looking at the evaluation. What's your level of anxiety? It takes just a second to log in your responses on the number scale. On anxiety, this is an easy one. You either have it or you don't. So 0 is the measure where you really want to keep track of things. Anything up higher, you have anxiety. Then you go on to evaluate your mood components. What's your overall mood? High or low? What's your level of calm? Are you calm or are you agitated? What's your level of focus or mindfulness? High or low? And what's your level of energy? That's physical and emotional. These are recorded each morning, noon, and evening. And all of these components can be customized to fit you personally. For example, if you tap on energy and change that to, say, exercise, you can do that if you want, if that's an area that you'd rather monitor. You can also change the secondary monitor, the centered, heightened, or lessened. You can change that, customize it for yourself. There's a lot of flexibility. Once you've rated your mood components, there's a space morning, noon, and evening to make important notes on how you feel or how your day is going. These turn out to be invaluable later on down the line when you're looking at your chart to help remind you of what was going on. The medication and supplement section is like a bouquet of forget-me-nots, organized, clear, and easy to assemble. The list, it's a daily list you simply check off and you're done with. 3 subtle but effective alarms double to remind you to fill out your chart and take your medications or supplements, and a 4th alarm is available for the last possible reminder for the day. Once you've put in the details, then comes the payoff. Through MoodWatch, you create a chart of your own moods over time. What you see are 5 strings of dots. In the picture here, some of the dots are merged because they're in the same line. But this is the picture of your mood. And the next screen says it all. This is the week report. It includes your mood chart, also sleep, blood pressure, meditation, your meds, and your notes. And when seen all together, this can be amazingly insightful. For example, you may discover that you need more sleep or less sleep. Did you forget your medication, or are you taking too much? And what happens when you try meditating? What it all comes down to is that when you have this information, you're in control. You can see when things are going up, you can see when they're going down. And now you have the tools to do something about it. You're empowered to be able to make choices you may never have even known you have. You can take action. Myself and many others have found MoodWatch to be a life-changing tool, and in fact, it makes management much more like magic. You can see over time what's working for you and what's not. Mental health is for everyone, and you can have a better life. Thank you. moodwatchapp.com. No. It wouldn't serve me. It just wouldn't serve me. I'm not doing it for anyone. No one looks at it unless I want to show. The last chart that I showed up there, you can print that out, full size. So if you want to show it to, say, your doctor, your therapist, you can do that. But otherwise, there's no benefit. This is all for you. It's all about you. Yes. I watch both ends of the spectrum. Going up high, I pay special attention to, because getting up too high, I know it's like Icarus going too close to the sun. It's just not a good place to go. So I start looking at, how am I taking care of myself? I need to slow down. That's a big one for me. Slow down. And for the lower parts, it's getting into meditation, focusing on gratitude, appreciating the things in my life. It's easy to forget sometimes. But yeah, and I watch those very, very carefully. No, I've got a nice gig going right now. I'm pretty happy with it. I was a bad patient. Remember that part about adherence? It seems perfectly normal when you start feeling better to just quit. Of course you feel better, because that's normal.
Or when you have a family member telling you that you don't need them, you can be normal again.
Sure. And that doesn't always work.
No, it doesn't.
Right. Or
because then you self-medicate.
Self-medicating, I did that. It's bad, it feels like you're in control. How much do you drink? It's easy to control. It's easier to control than a pill, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not. It shouldn't take that long. It should not take that long. And I didn't always communicate with my doctors. In the long run, I'd have to say no. I felt frustrated a lot of the time. There were a lot of medications I did not like. Hate taking pills, that whole mindset. But no, if you communicate with your doctor, which you gotta do, just gotta do it. And I'll tell you, the program really helps with that, because you can share with them, how you are feeling with the medications that you are taking. And they can start making decisions as to, maybe this isn't quite the right thing. Maybe the dosage needs to be looked at. But unless they have that information, they're just powerless. All I can say is that I'm really, really grateful for the medication that I'm on, and I'm grateful for the meditation that I've been taught. But I wouldn't trade bipolar 1 for anything. Got to watch that high side, that's for sure, and got to watch the low side too. Those ends of the spectrum those are deadly. They're just deadly. But it's a high. Does that answer it?
Pretty much.
Okay. I feel like this would make me even more self-focused. How do you get out of constantly monitoring yourself? Well, it's impossible to constantly monitor yourself. You can only do it 3 times a day. That's actually how I felt when I first started using it, was this is so much fun, I want to do it all the time. But you can only do it 3 times a day, which is, I think it's a good thing for people like you and me.